Hey everyone, I am Aiden. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to have a look at the IBIS on the Fujifilm Xh1. In my first video about the X-H1, I spoke about workflow, and it's the reason why people choose Fujifilm over Sony, even though Sony is the obvious choice when it comes to specs. And now the IBIS is one of those things where the specs aren't as good as the Sony. The IBIS simply reinforces that choice. What I mean by that is you've got the workflow, you've got the amazing color, and now it adds something like 5 stops into your shooting capabilities when using IBIS. What that basically means in my ape man photography mindset is it makes it a lot easier to shoot in low light situations and in action situations. So with the autofocus improving and all those features that are improving on the Fujifilm, it's becoming more and more of a professional option. Okay, so those were 2 sets of B-roll. The one was in 4K at 24 frames per second. The other one was at 120 frames per second. What that shows you is, firstly, how stable it keeps it in just 24 frames per second, just normal motion. And then in slow motion, how buttery smooth you can get it with the IBIS. Now we're going to do the similar things with the IBIS disabled. Okay, so now, in case you missed it, I'm going to run and put the video side by side, IBIS on, IBIS off. That actually brought me on to my next point, which is the downsides, the cons, where this IBIS is still falling short, but I'm pretty sure Fujifilm are going to improve it with firmware updates, is the fact that the IBIS, it jumps instead of smoothly moving from point to point. It can only do so much to keep the image stable, and you could see in that video it would stay on a point if I wasn't shaking too much, but then when I took a big step it would jump to the next point. And I'm going to show you now how the IBIS, when panning, and if you do a slightly jerky movement in panning or whatever you're doing, it tends to create little jerks, and you might have already seen it in some of the video, especially 120 frames per second, where that little jerk becomes, you see it more clearly. Okay, I just want to jump in there and say, on reviewing this footage, it handled that little test very well and quite a bit better than I expected. So if you move the camera steadily through the panning cycle, it seems to handle it quite well. So it kind of picks the beginning point and just holds it steady for you. But if you go back and analyze some of the footage of the B-roll at the beginning of the video, you will see some of that jitter. So it definitely is a thing, but it's maybe not as bad as I'm making out. So overall, the reason why I like this camera and the reason why I would recommend this camera is, again, to say the workflow, the color science in this camera, and the general usability of it, the tactile functions and that on the camera all work together to create a beautiful sort of user experience. And now with them kind of coming into the market with IBIS, with better film features, F-Log is now recorded internally. It's 8-bit, not 10-bit. Some guys are complaining about that, but for most users, this camera is the ultimate hybrid shooting device. And I know a lot of guys would say, well, go for the A7 III. In my country, it's 10,000 Rand more. That's a huge price jump. So at this price point, it's just incredible. I hope you liked the video. I hope it was helpful to you just to see that the IBIS, while with its quirks, is not awful, it's not useless. All it does is kind of prop up this camera as a brilliant hybrid shooting device. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. Please like this video, share it with your friends. I'll see you in the next one.